Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
With the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Welcome to The Real Dish Show, the place where we peel back the onion on your fabulously fit life. I'm Chef Maria, the Fit Foodie, and with over 30 years of experience in the health and wellness world, I'm here to guide you on this journey to uncover the keys to living a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're seeking practical tips for nutrition, fitness, mental well-being, or simply craving insightful conversations with experts in the field, you've come to the right place. Now get ready to embark on a holistic adventure toward a healthier, happier you and make shift happen for good. We spend so much time chasing protein, cutting carbs, and counting calories. But what if the real key to energy, metabolism, and longevity has been living inside your gut this whole time? Hot take. It's not that your metabolism is broken. It's that your microbiome is potentially underfed. In this episode of The Real Dish, I sit down with gut health expert and best-selling author, Dr. Will Bulsiewicz, also known as Dr. B, to dig into the real power of plants and what they can do for your body, your brain, and your longevity. As the author of the new book, Plant Powered Plus, Dr. B breaks down the science in a way that actually makes sense and, more importantly, makes it doable. We talk about how to nourish your gut microbiome without giving up the foods you love, why diversity, not perfection, is the real goal, and how even small shifts can create massive changes in your energy, digestion, and overall health. And by the way, it's not all about the food. We will also tackle some of the biggest misconceptions around plant-based eating, like protein panic, carb fear, and whether you really need to go all in to see results. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by nutrition advice or stuck in an all or nothing mindset, this episode will feel like a breath of fresh air. Because it's not about restriction, it's about expansion, abundance, and getting back to what real food can do for you. This conversation, I believe, is going to be really empowering, eye-opening, and packed with practical takeaways that will help you eat and live better. So grab your favorite snack, a good-for-you drink, and pull up a seat. Let's dig in. I'm so glad to have you on. I have your new book here, Plant Powered Plus. Very fascinating, and I've really enjoyed diving into it. This book builds on ideas from your other book, Fiber Fueled, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think that for me, it's a maturation as an author and also just continuing to evolve and refine myself.
Yeah. And it's so important, I feel like, as you continue on your journey of uncovering information that people will need. What inspired that next step? And what is the plus? What is that thing that is going to help us as readers kind of plus up our ideas about plant-based eating?
Well, so just to contextualize, my first book, Fiber Fueled, I had zero expectations for that book. I didn't know anything was going to happen. I launched it in May of 2020 when the pandemic, basically no one was working. And it turned into something. And it fulfilled my dream, which was to write a book that impacts the lives of people. I knew this because they were reaching out to me on a daily basis. And it offered me the opportunity, the freedom as an author to choose the future for myself. Like, what do I want to write about? And as a medical doctor, I want to write about the problems that make maximum impact in the world today. And there is no bigger problem than inflammation. 3 out of 5 deaths, 60% of the deaths that occur, are directly attributable to inflammatory health conditions. And so I feel that we have an epidemic of inflammation. And at the same time, it's not just inflammation, it's the connection between our gut and our immune system that becomes the way in which the opportunity that we have to transform our health. And so that's what I wanted to write this book about. But that conversation is not just about diet, and that's what the plus is. The plus is about going beyond our diet, going beyond the plate to say, look, we're human. We're far more complicated than just our food. If it was so easy, we could just engineer our diet and live forever. And so the plus is really exploring those other opportunities of who we are and what we really need in the modern world.
I love that. And I think when people hear the word inflammation, I don't know if they fully grasp what that means. I mean, when you have something that is inflamed, usually it's red or, it looks like an infection of some sort. But can you kind of just double click down on what inflammation actually means?
Sure. So what you just described is a perfect way to discuss acute inflammation. Redness, warmth, tenderness, a fever. That is the response of your immune system to a threat. That could be an infection. That's the classic thing. But it could be other stuff too. Or it could be your body repairing. Your immune system helps you to repair from bodily injury. And these are examples of where our immune system and inflammation, they are necessary in order for us to be healthy humans. The word inflammation is not a dirty word. It's a life-saving word. The problem is when the immune system spins out of control, when it's being chronically provoked and responding to threats that barely exist, right? If it's like basically like a drunk, like a person who's drunk and they don't know who they're fighting, they're just swinging, right? When the immune system is in that state, that's a problem because it actually leads to damage to our tissues, to our organs, the manifestation of disease as that damage accumulates. That's not something that occurs in one day. That's the result of day in, day out chronic low-grade inflammation. And it's contributing to over 130 health conditions in America today.
Wow. Yeah, it is. It seems to me that understanding what can cause inflammation in the individual, in each person, is really important, right? Because it varies. How does a person really grasp that? For example, I may be an individual who has an intolerance to dairy. So dairy is inflammatory to me, while someone else may not have any issues, but may have a problem with, I don't know, meat, for example. How is understanding our individual, I guess, kind of situation, whether it be allergies or things that create an inflammatory response, like how important is it to know that? And how does the average person go about finding that out?
It's extremely important. You are a unique individual. There's no one on the planet exactly like you. Even if you had an identical twin, do you have an identical twin by chance?
No, not that I know.
Okay. It'd be cool if you did. Even if you had one, you would only share about 30 or 35% of the same microbes within your microbiome. You would be more different than you are the same, even though you were born from the same mother. You would have the exact same genetic code, in the vast majority of cases raised in the same home, eating similar food, similar lifestyle in many cases. But yet you're more different than you are the same when it comes to your gut microbiome. And that's a very, very big part of your bio-individuality, because our gut microbiome actually accounts for 99% of our genetic code.
Wow.
So our human genetics.
99%. That's incredible.
Yeah, 99%. Yeah. And it's quite fascinating because this becomes the important piece. It's the connection between these microbes that are highly unique and individual to you and our immune system that really is the story of inflammation. Because what I discovered in researching this book is that as the gut becomes more healthy, the immune system becomes more comfortable and less inflamed. And when the gut is less well and struggling, it's not able to do its job. And part of its job is actually to protect the immune system. And that ultimately will result in the manifestation of this chronic low-grade inflammation. So the gut is the opportunity that we have because we can control the different environmental elements that ultimately impact our gut. So the question that you asked me, though, is how do you work towards bio-individuality? And it may seem kind of ridiculous because I can only write one book as an author. But I actually addressed this exact question in the very first page of the book. I wrote a note to the reader from me, the author, to basically say, as you go through this book, it's only one book, but you, the way in which you receive this information is going to be unique to you. And you will have aha moments that no one else has. And it's those aha moments that allow you to identify the information that's particularly relevant to you. So when it strikes a chord and you're like, oh my goodness, that's interesting. You have your aha moment. You just discovered it.
Yeah.
And now you need to put into action within your life.
So allergies are, and they cause an inflammatory response in the body, correct? So if somebody is allergic or has a sensitivity, does that mean that if they continue to eat, like, for example, if maybe you're not celiac, but you notice that when you eat products with gluten or flour that you get a little stomach upset, are we to kind of pay heed to that? The body just kind of gently saying, don't do that so much? Or is the body strong enough to kind of protect us?
Okay, so this is a great question. And because what you've walked us into is that something that real people encounter all the time. There are absolutely listeners right now who are perking up, being like, that's me.
Yeah.
I want to hear what he's going to say.
It's me too.
So, yeah. And it's a little bit of a nuanced, tricky thing. I wish it were so simple because it could be an allergy, but in many cases, it's not an allergy. In many cases, it's what I would characterize as a food intolerance. And a food intolerance is when your body, for one reason or another, is struggling to process and digest your food. And that itself is not because of your immune system. That's related to your digestion, and it may definitely involve your microbiome. All right, so a moment ago, you mentioned lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is the insufficient levels of the enzyme lactase in order to digest our food. This is why for people that have lactose intolerance, they can take a digestive enzyme by mouth with their meal and actually be okay. That enzyme lactase, you'll find it in the lining of your intestine. Some people, though, are genetically low on this particular enzyme. But additionally, your gut microbiome has this enzyme. And if your gut microbiome were exposed to lactose on a routine basis, it develops the ability to become better at processing and digesting lactose. So in other words, Maria, people who have lactose intolerance, we have research that shows that you can actually improve lactose intolerance by slowly introducing dairy products.
Interesting. Yeah.
And we even have research that shows that fiber supplements, which have nothing to do with lactose directly, but do impact your microbiome in a powerful way, can actually help to improve lactose intolerance. So, and I want to just, to finish out the answer, just comment real quick on allergic diseases. So, allergic diseases are by definition the activation of your immune system. So autoimmune diseases are when your immune system responds and reacts and attacks something within your own body. Allergic diseases are when your immune system is reacting and responding to something that's outside of your body, So right now I live in Charleston, South Carolina. It's literally yellow on the ground. It looks like it's snowing, except the snow is yellow. It's the pollen.
Pollen.
Right?
I'm getting it here in California. It's kicking my butt.
Yeah. Beautiful places. This is the price that you pay to live in beautiful places. And so, but many people, they get an allergy, seasonal allergies to the pollen or to pet dander, or it could be to specific foods. And in all of those cases, what it is it's something from outside your body, the environment that your immune system is reacting to, but it's not supposed to. So both allergic and autoimmune diseases, by definition, that is inflammation. And also by definition, your immune system is confused. It's attacking something it's not supposed to.
So we know how important the gut is as the foundation of overall health. You mentioned it's 99% of your genetic makeup. It's 70%, I believe, of your immune cells. For someone that's hearing this and maybe just starting their journey, what is the single most impactful change that they can make today to support better gut health? Is it something that they can repair with diet, or I guess this is a two-part question. Number one, what can they do? And number two, is it something that diet can fix, or do you need to take a probiotic? Do you need to do something else besides food?
Diet can definitely fix for the vast majority of people, but not for 100% of people. Going back to your prior question of like the individuality of us all, for some people, the number one thing is going to be their nutrition. For some people, it's going to be addressing their relationships or stress through the brain-gut connection and the impact that those things have on their health. And I've seen it many times before. So there's many directions that we could go with this conversation, depending on what your interests are. But what I would say is that as I sit here and I look at across the population of the United States, the statistics that I see that tell me that 95% of America is not only deficient in fiber, they're massively deficient in fiber. They're not even close to where they're supposed to be. So like, for example, the average woman in the US consumes 15 grams of fiber. She's supposed to be 25. She almost has to double her fiber intake in order to get there. And the average man in the United States gets about 18 grams of fiber. He should be 38. Doubling it isn't even enough. And that's to get the lower limit of the amount of fiber that you need on a daily basis to support your body, including your gut microbiome. So to me, that if I, in terms of my platform and the things that I would love to do, if I could help America to address that one issue,
fiber
across the country, fiber, like normalizing fiber intake on a daily basis, the way that we so clearly normalize protein intake. If we can normalize fiber intake the same way that we normalize protein intake, America would be so much healthier. And every single one of those people, when I say America, I don't just mean us as a country. I'm acknowledging that there's people, these are individual lives. Every single one of those people would derive the benefit. They would feel the difference.
What are, doctor, the best forms of fiber in your opinion, based on the science?
So fiber is a bit of a complex molecule. It's a little bit like protein in the sense that like we're really describing a category. And each of these types of fiber, they're highly complex. Like I was a chemistry major in college. I have no clue. And my eyes glaze over with boredom when I look at a fiber molecule. I don't even want to try. So to simplify it, we have broken it up into two main families, soluble and insoluble. Soluble means that it dissolves, and insoluble is the grit, it's the roughage, it's the part that will never dissolve. So the insoluble fiber is the part that is kind of the definition of fiber that we heard when we were kids, which is it helps you poop, right? It runs through you. It doesn't get absorbed.
Basically, right?
Yeah, just sweeps on through. Right. So that's the insoluble fiber, but there's this other type of fiber, the soluble fiber. That's the one that has my attention because there's a story that has emerged in science in recent years that tells a different story, which is that the soluble fiber is actually food for your microbiome. There are 38 trillion microbes living inside you. They are as alive as you and I are. We don't give them the acknowledgement that we should because they're invisible. We can't see them. If we saw them, we'd probably freak out. We'd be totally overwhelmed.
38 billion with a B.
38 trillion with a T.
Oh, T. Excuse me.
With a T. Yeah. So it's a massive number. I mean, it's the stars in the sky multiplied by hundreds. And
we are walking microbes.
We're less than 50% humans. So 38 trillion is more than the number of human cells that we have. We have about 30 trillion human cells. So we are at least 50% microbial. And they need to eat just like us. They don't get to exist without sustenance. And fiber is their preferred food. And
have we gotten it all wrong, really, with this all the noise around like carnivore and keto and ultra high protein diets? Have we, have Americans been misled by these types of diets and focusing on the wrong thing?
I think that the way that I would describe it, so first of all, Americans are engaging with information through the standard channels that we all use, myself included, right? And when you go to those places, what are you going to find? Are you going to find the most rigorous science-based information? Or are you going to find the thing that figured out how to elevate itself through an algorithm that has nothing to do with science? And so what we ultimately get fed through these algorithms are the things that are controversial. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen this firsthand. I have 662,000 followers on Instagram. And I know that if I post something that's highly controversial, I will get way more activity than if I go and talk about things that are like really true and not controversial at all. So the problem is the truth gets buried. And it's the takes, it's the hot takes. And so the problem is that we exist in a world where whatever the trend is, that's what we're being fed. So we have to be smart enough to see past that. Because what I'm going to tell you right now, Maria, in 2020, the most popular diet in America was a 100% plant-based diet. And by 2023, the most popular diet in America was literally the diametrically opposed polar opposite.
Fat.
It was a carnivore. It was a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very happy to discuss the nuance that exists between those two polar extremes. I'm very happy to discuss that. But what I'm saying it to you is if you follow the popular diets have no clue. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think if anything, it can be very dangerous, honestly. And I've seen it happen many, many times. I've been in the world of nutrition for over 30 years. And, I'll see somebody talk about the weight loss results that they got from adopting a certain diet. And I think we're missing the point here. I think that it's not just about weight loss. It's not about, I have no more bloating or gas anymore. Well, that's just your body getting used to fiber. If you haven't been eating a good diet or if you've been eating a very ultra processed diet, of course, your body is going to react and acclimate. But I think what people, it seems to me, are after are more of weight loss results. How do you help people understand that in order to, and I'm kind of going off the grid here a little bit, but it's just something that I see over and over again. How do you help them understand that it's not just about a quick fix, but it is about a longevity strategy? When you look at the blue zones, the true blue zones, the countries that have been able to sustain a healthful diet and see longevity in their citizens, the number one thing that is consistent across the board is legumes. So how do we not vilify these things anymore and instead help people understand that it's about the long game?
It is about the long game.
If you're eating healthy but still feel low energy, inflamed, or like your meals are missing something, it might be that you're not getting enough micronutrients. And that's exactly why I created Superfood Sprinkle. It's my all-in-one flavor and health-forward seasoning made with real functional ingredients like the amazing black cumin, turmeric, sesame seeds, brain-healthy mushrooms, kelp, nutritional yeast, and so much more. It isn't fairy dust, and it's not a supplement that you forgot to take. It's the easiest way to upgrade whatever you're already eating. Eggs, veggies, bowls, avocado toast, and even popcorn. Sprinkle it on, and suddenly your food works for you. More flavor, more nutrients, and less effort. Because eating well shouldn't feel complicated, it should feel empowering. Now, if you head to chefmaria.com and use the code REALDISH, you'll get a special listener bonus. It's a sprinkle and a big shift. Now, what are you waiting for? Get some sprinkle in your life.
And the problem is that you can present people with short-term results, and that's ultimately they want to see the difference very quickly. It's hard for the average person to make a commitment to what does the world look like for you in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, etc. And so I think it's just sort of the limitations of who we are as humans that, look, I'm motivated, and that motivation, it better deliver results and deliver them soon. And that doesn't mean that legumes would not deliver results. They do. But it's not so sexy as, beans, which are the fart foods that we made fun of when we were kids. It's hard to turn them into the same thing that's so sexy as, hey, here's this new drug that you literally see people around you dropping weight so fast without even trying.
And
I'm not saying
all of that. The GLP-1s, that's a whole, I know that has nothing to do really with your book, but I see we as women, we fought against it when I was growing up, this whole waif, like ultra thin, unattainable kind of physique. And I see it coming back, and it literally makes me sick to my stomach because we fought against that for so long. And it was all about getting strong and having muscle on your body. And I'm seeing these gaunt faces, these ultra thin, very waifish looking celebrities. And I just feel like we are taking 3 steps backwards now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the way that I would present or discuss this is that above all things, I'm a medical doctor, and that I want people to be healthy. So for the people who achieve their health goals using these medicines, I'm really glad that they exist. But I don't think that's the majority of use in America today. And when you're using these drugs for vanity purposes, you're playing with fire. Because the issue is that, number one, the minute you stop using the drug, the weight comes right back. Except when you gain the weight back, you're gaining fat. You're not getting you don't get the muscle back that you lost. So when you put yourself into a calorie deficit, you lose both muscle and fat. When you gain the weight back, you're not getting the muscle back. And so, or you're gonna have to work really hard to try to get it back. Number two, it doesn't address the nutritional issues that we have in America. The average person in America is 60% ultra processed foods. And if you take that and you shrink the calories,
wow.
Yeah, 60%. And for our kids, 70%.
That's incredible.
It's sad because for every 10%, it increases your risk of early death by 14%. So if you do the math on that, 6 times 14 is 84. So you increase 84% for adults, and for our kids, it's closer to 100% increase. So, and reducing your calories does not force you to change that. So you're not necessarily going to improve the quality of your diet.
Reducing your calories, I think what ends up happening is people are so restrictive with their calories, they forget that we actually need to eat real food and nutrients. So it becomes like a numbers game versus a quality or nutrient density game. I want to go back to one question that I asked, and I just kind of want to restate it. If there's one food that we could add today to help our guts, from your perspective, what would that, and I know you said fiber, but is there one particular food that you're a big fan of?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of legumes.
Okay. Right
Yeah,
back to legumes. I love it.
Yeah, well, because look, in today's world, groceries have gotten really expensive,
Yes.
and cooking real food, like this is what we're hearing. You need real food, but like most people interpret that to mean fresh produce, and that's really expensive. And also, some of it you don't use, and then you throw it out, and you feel horrible. Whereas legumes, they're non-perishable, they're not expensive. You can get them organic, and there is no food out there that is more oriented towards the health of your microbiome than legumes, because they have fiber, resistant starches, and polyphenols.
See, hear that, everybody? Add those beans. Get those legumes in there. And if you have a problem with the farts, as Dr. B said, you can cook them with a little bit of kombu. Seaweed helps to absorb some of that gas, or take an enzyme. That's what I do. And it makes a huge difference.
If you soak them and then throw away the water, that helps too.
By the way, I have a funny story to tell you, just as an aside. I am a lactose intolerant person. I have a lot of problems digesting lactose unless it's, like a fermented dairy. Like I can do yogurt, I can do cottage cheese in small amounts. But when I was a baby, apparently I had a lot of problems with nursing. And I grew up in Egypt, where finding formula was not easy for my parents. And they would the national food of Egypt is fava beans. And there was a vendor that lived on the end of our street, and he would cook huge batches of fava beans and save the cooking liquid of the fava beans and give it to my parents, and they would put it in the baby bottle for me. And so I was literally raised on bean juice.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. I may be small in stature, but I'm still alive. So goes to show it can.
There's health benefits there. The microbiome would adapt to that. So the microbiome is always adapting to whatever we do. And if you were to provide it with bean juice on a daily basis, there's actually good things that I think come from that.
Yeah. And fava beans are a very unique type of bean in terms of their amino acid profile too. So it really, fava beans are one of those powerful longevity foods. And speaking of longevity, a lot of my listeners are in midlife. Many are women over 40 who are dealing with hormonal changes, weight shifts, of course, energy dips. Can you see a plant-powered approach helping to support women hormonally in midlife?
100%. And I think this is an important topic to discuss, because something that has really emerged in recent years is a conversation around perimenopause and menopause. I'm glad that we're having this conversation finally.
Yes.
And seeing women and trying to help them through this phase of their life. So, and let me just say, like, as a guy, I want happy women in my life, right? And I want to support you.
Right.
So just know that, like, us guys, every man should feel that way. Because we care about the women in our lives, and this is something that it's a part of, it's one of our life stages for women. And so anyway, there's a part of the gut microbiome that has received a specific name, and it's called the estrobolome.
Say that again.
And it's called, so there's a part of the microbiome that we have given a specific name. It's almost like having a team. And that team, we call them the estrobolome. So, and the estrobolome is involved in estrogen metabolism. So it turns out that estrogen is not just an ovarian thing, that there is an actual estrogen cycle that exists within the body, where the estrogen, yes, produced by mostly the ovaries, gets released, circulates through the blood, and then ultimately the liver will send it down through our bile, and it passes through our poop. And in that regard, it could be potentially excreted and lost forever. But the gut microbiome has an opportunity to salvage. Now, I'm not saying it's poopy estrogen. It's clean, it's wonderful, it's just as good as any other estrogen. But the gut microbiome has the ability to salvage that estrogen and get it back into the bloodstream. So if you think about it, imagine it this way, Maria, that imagine if we had a sink, all right? And if a woman was at her absolute best, if we could draw a line in the sink, that's where we want to keep the water level. That's when women are at their absolute best. There's two ways that you control the water level. One is the faucet. That's the ovaries producing the estrogen. But the second way that you control it is actually the drain. Because if you slow down the drainage, you retain water. And when you retain water, you can elevate the level and get it to where it needs to be and keep it optimized. So, and that's what the estrobolome is doing. The estrobolome is helping to elevate the estrogen levels and keep it at a good level. So part of the reason why I believe that women are suffering in the modern world with bigger issues with perimenopause and menopause than was discussed in the past is actually that our gut microbiome is unwell. And if the gut microbiome is not well, then you're not going to get back the estrogen that you're looking for. This is why fiber actually is one of the key solutions for these women as they go into this life stage.
I love that. Estrobolome. We need that good estrobolome working for us.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, we are at our rapid fire round of questions. This is just 10 simple questions, Dr. B. If you can answer them in just a few words up to a sentence, just let her rip.
I'll do my best.
So number one is, aside from legumes, what's one plant food you think everyone should eat more of?
Let's go with, I'm going to go with seeds, specifically chia, flax, and hemp.
Oh, seeds. Okay. I love seeds. I love adding seeds. I love chia seed pudding. I love it all. Number two is, what's the most underrated gut health food in your kitchen right now?
I don't think sprouts get the attention they deserve. It's time for sprouts to like really be shouted from the rooftops because they're nutritional powerhouses and they're not expensive. So it's a gut health game changer.
I love that you said that because I have a sprouter and I sprout my own sprout. I've been doing it for decades and it is literally the thing that I don't kill.
What kind of sprouts do you like to do?
I do daikon. I do alfalfa. I have a blend of different sprouts all in one. It's just, I kind of switch them up all the time.
Amazing. So
I
good.
like the daikon sprouts. I like broccoli sprouts a lot.
I mean, broccoli sprouts are like basically medicine from my perspective. And my favorite from a flavor perspective, they're very hard to make, but because it takes a long time, but onion sprouts, like they're incredible on a salad.
I like that. I'll have to try the onion sprouts. I haven't seen those in my seed mix, but
it's a tricky one. You got to get them special order and it takes like 10 days of sprouting. So it's like a more advanced type of sprouting.
So it's a little more. Okay.
Yeah. But the once you have them though, the flavor is just, there's nothing like it out of this world.
All right. I'm a sprout fan. Okay. Number three, what is your favorite lazy but healthy meal when you have zero time to cook?
Oh, well, this is what I had for lunch today. I made a quick chana masala. So, and because all you need is chickpeas and masala sauce and you just throw them together and good to go. Delicious.
That sounds good. Do you have that with rice or do you do naan or what do you have it with?
I like to do it with naan. Like if I could get, so for what it's worth, full transparency, like I don't home cook every single meal that I have. So like Trader Joe's has a lot of great stuff and I'll get garlic naan from Trader Joe's, throw it in the air fryer. It's delicious. It takes me 2 seconds.
Yeah. I love a good, masala of any sort. Okay. Number 4 is fermented foods. Okay. Do we love them? Are they essential?
Massively love them. I mean, essential, like to me, one of the great nutritional opportunities because no one is actually eating fermented foods. So if you take the thing that's missing and it's powerful, and you add it, that's how you really transform yourself.
Yeah.
So this is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of kimchi, sauerkraut, pickled vegetables, which leads me to my next question. Number 5, raw apple cider vinegar. Is it a thing? Should we add it to our daily?
You got to be a little careful. I actually like it, but the hype is a bit outpacing the science. There's definitely more hype than there is science there. That said, it is a fermented food.
Yes.
Right? Because when it's raw, it has the mother that has live microbes.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful though, because the acidity of it could absolutely cause harm to your teeth. It could cause harm to your esophagus. It's just a bit much. So what I do is I just use like a small amount, like 1 to 1.5 teaspoons. And then I just add water and it adds flavor to my drink and then I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I add it to sparkling water as almost like a little, mocktail. And
it's almost like a homemade kombucha.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll usually have that with food rather than on an empty stomach, just so that it doesn't kind of burn my gut. So
yeah.
Okay, number 6, coffee. Is it helping our guts or is it a foe?
So it's a thumbs up for me. I actually have a YouTube video that I released just recently on this topic. So you can see the full breakdown if you want to check out my YouTube channel.
Cool.
But yeah, there's actually clear-cut research that coffee is good for the microbiome. And so it's not, let me be transparent, it's not for everyone. But coffee is a microbiome drink as far as I'm concerned.
Yay! And all the coffee lovers across the country said, awesome. We love it. Okay, number 7. What's a plant food you used to hate but learned to love?
That's an interesting question. I never had tofu until I was probably like mid-30s.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I just never had it. I had no reason to. And I thought, I was like, what's that white blob? That's weird. And now actually, like, first of all, I don't even think twice anymore. But second of all, I kind of appreciate it because it's this humble protein source that sort of blends well with whatever dish. As long as it's got flavor and a sauce, it's gonna work well in there. And it actually does a great job of like basically delivering the protein that you're searching for.
It's a blank canvas is what I tell people. I mean, it basically will absorb anything that you add to it. So you definitely need to add flavor to it. And just a little quick tip for everybody. A 2-minute meal that you can make is literally steam your tofu. You can do it in the microwave if you don't have time. Steam your block of tofu, cut it up into little bite-sized blocks. And then you can do a either like a miso kind of broth or a little bit of hot chili oil with some scallions and pour it over the top, and it will absorb all of that delicious, yummy goodness. And it is like the fastest meal you've ever had.
Yum.
I know. I made it the other night with hot chili oil. And my daughter and my dad, who are not huge tofu fans, were like, wow, okay, this is like changing the way we think about this.
Amazing.
Okay, our next question is, if someone could add one habit for better gut health, what would it be?
I would go with consistent sleep times. So there's a lot of directions I could go there. But
let's talk about that, because we haven't really talked about lifestyle outside of food necessarily. Let's talk about sleep.
Sleep is one part of our daily circadian rhythm. We were designed to have a 24-hour rhythm that was guided by the rise of the sun in the morning and the fall of the sun in the evening. And that your body, all of it, has cells, including your microbes, that are trying to basically prepare for the day, have an agenda, know what's going to happen at what time. And when you maintain consistency, they build and work around that.
Yeah.
And it makes them better at their job. So when you have a consistent sleep time, you're taking full advantage of the rest and recovery aspect of your circadian rhythm, which is what you're doing when you're sleeping well at night. And that there's no doubt that nighttime is the time in which the gut microbiome is getting healthier, the gut barrier is being repaired and restored, and the immune system is basically being set up to be nice and peaceful the next day. So nighttime is something that we need to be taking advantage of more.
Sleep. I'm such a big fan of it. I feel like that is something that I took for granted for many, many years, just thinking, well, I'll just burn the candle at both ends working. And it caught up to me one day, and now my sleep is absolutely non-negotiable.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way.
Okay. The next question is stress. Does it impact our gut health?
Massively. Massively. No doubt about it. It used to be sort of a questionable thing, but now it's actually very clearly defined what happens. Our brain has ways in which it releases hormones in response to a threat. That's what stress is. Body feels threatened. And those hormones set off an entire reaction throughout the body, but ultimately it involves sacrificing the gut to prioritize other things. So like imagine that if we were, living in the prehistoric times, if we were threatened by an animal, now's not the time to be digesting your food. You need to prioritize your muscles. You need to be able to climb a tree and save your life. So that's what stress allows us to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is a problem in the modern world when we're constantly getting triggered by stress and it's negatively affecting our digestion. So there's a strong connection there.
And the last question is, what is one ingredient that you would say, or one food that we absolutely must steer clear of that is causing damage to our gut microbiome? The top one.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of directions I could go with this, but I do think, I would probably go with added sugar. The amount of added sugar that the average American consumes on a yearly basis is profound. And sugar has been shown to be disruptive to our microbiome. Like basically whatever food you consume, the microbes are going to adapt to that food. So you are training your microbiome to love sugar when you consume sugar on a routine basis. And it's actually been shown that when we spike our blood sugar, which is what happens after we consume refined carbohydrates, it actually disrupts the gut barrier. And this is how we ultimately irritate our immune system and create inflammation. So to me, like if we could reduce our refined sugar, not to zero, I mean, I'm certainly not zero, but if you could reduce your sugar intake and replace it with whole foods that could be sweet, then ultimately this is how we really make people healthier. So like berries, for example, it's a wonderful way to get that sweetness if you have a sweet tooth and simultaneously actually make yourself healthier in the process.
I like dates too. Dates are something that I always tell people. It's like nature's answer to your sweet tooth. It's full of fiber. It helps with digestion. It's so good for you. It helps you feel full. So satiating. On that subject, I actually have a quick question about artificial sweeteners or alternative sweeteners. What do you think about things like stevia and sucralose and, sugar alcohols and things like that?
So I tend to prefer, so first of all, none of them get a free pass in my mind, right? So none of them are something where I'm going to say, hey, don't worry about that at all. Moderation is a word that's applicable to so many facets of our diet, including this. I tend to prefer things like stevia and monk fruit. Monk fruit in particular, there's actually research to show, because monk fruit is naturally sourced, and there's research to show that monk fruit is actually good for the microbiome because it has this antioxidant style properties, because it's a plant-based nutrient. So whereas particularly the artificial sweeteners, artificially prepared sweeteners, the sugar alcohols, they actually have research that would suggest many of them are causing harm to our microbiome. Look, you have one Diet Coke, you haven't ruined your microbiome. That's not how, it's not that extreme. But if you are the person with a daily Coke habit that has 2 of those bottles a day,
Yeah.
right? Like, because there are definitely people out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get concerned. And so to me, like artificial sweeteners, I try to avoid.
Mm-hmm. Good answers. Doctor, is there anything else you'd like to impart on our listeners as a thought to kind of wrap this up with a nice little bow?
I mean, I think in wrapping it up, basically what we've discussed here today is that the gut microbiome is the command center for your health, which is a fascinating thing because it's not even human and it's not a part of your body and it's microscopic and invisible. You can't even see it, but yet it's there. It outnumbers your actual human cells and it's connected to all aspects of your health, including your brain, including your metabolism, including your hormones, including your immune system and inflammation. We've discussed all those topics here today. So, and the choices that we make with our diet, with our lifestyle, with our sleep, with our exercise, with our circadian rhythm, with fasting, with our relationships, with our spiritual practices, all of these things ultimately become reflected in our gut microbiome. Those are the opportunities that we have. Those are the levers that we can pull. And that's really what my book, Plant Powered Plus, is about giving people actionable, evidence-based tools that they can apply to their life that could transform their health through the gut.
So great. Plant Powered Plus, everybody. Make sure you pick up a copy. Follow Dr. B on social media. We will include the link in the show notes. And Dr. B, thank you for spending this time with us. It's been a really fascinating discussion.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal health advice. We are not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice, and the views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. Hey, it's Chef Maria, and thank you so much for tuning into The Real Dish. It means a lot to me that you're here. I hope today's episode has inspired you to take some proactive steps towards a healthier and happier you. Because just remember, bite-sized changes can lead to big transformations. But before you go, would you do me a big favor? If you found value in this episode, would you share it with 2 of your closest friends and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode? And if you really want to make this girl's day, would you leave a 5-star review? I do hear an angel gets its wings every time you do that. But really, this helps us spread the message of real-life wellness to even more listeners. And everybody could use a healthy portion of that, right? Now, until next time, remember, you are the chef of your own kitchen. So feed your life well, make good decisions, prioritize your well-being, and remember, you need to take care of you because we only get one of you and you are a gift to everyone around you. So until next week, this is Chef Maria signing off. And just remember, we're here to cook up a good time every single week. We'll see you soon.